Hey everyone, Rakil here again, and in today's video I'm going to talk about player engagement in Battlefield 5, why Battlefront 2 has left a sour taste in everyone's mouth, and how DICE can really make Battlefield 5 into a game that can keep an engaged player base for years to come. First, I want to thank everyone that has been watching these first videos. I know that they are pretty rough, but it's been a lot of fun making these pieces of content, and I am looking forward to putting even more stuff out there in the weeks, months, and years to come. EA Play has already happened, and it's been awesome being able to see a lot of gameplay from the event. And also, I'm excited to be able to see more and more content being released by the game changers that got invited to the event. While I wasn't there, and I don't have any of my actual own gameplay footage from Battlefield 5, I'll still be covering all of the updates and news that comes about the game. I'll be providing plenty of Battlefield 1 gameplay until we are able to get our hands on the beta of Battlefield 5. But yeah, with that out of the way, I want to really talk about player engagement in Battlefield 5. DICE and EA have decided to remove the system of expansions that has been a part of all the recent Battlefield games, which introduced new maps, modes, weapons, vehicles, and even countries into the game every few months. You were able to buy these expansions individually or purchase a subscription that would give you access to all of this content as it was released. Before the reveal of Battlefield 5, the community was pretty unanimous in its disdain of this system, especially with the locking of maps behind this system, which served to split the community more and more with each release of a new expansion. While getting new maps was great, players would be annoyed that they wouldn't be able to play these maps with friends that didn't have the expansion, and months after the expansion was released, it was sometimes difficult to find servers that actually ran that map, especially after the game had already been replaced by another in the series. This all also ignores the facts that these expansions for the paid subscription were expensive, essentially doubling the cost of the game. Yes, they did add a lot of content to the game, but you were essentially paying for 2 full games, and often all at once if you bought the game and the subscription together. So that is why the announcement that Battlefield 5 would use a live service model was so exciting at first. Content would be coming for free, so no expensive subscription that you would have to buy or individual expansions every few months. No more splitting the community and not being able to play new content with friends who hadn't purchased the expansion. No more not being able to play these expansions months after they are released just because of a lack of players that are still playing and that own the content. It all sounded so good, but one thing to remember is that EA would never release a system like this unless they thought that they could make more money than the subscription model that they have been using for years. Some of the most popular games on the market currently employ a live service model and they are making a killing. Fortnite, PUBG, League of Legends, Rocket League, Overwatch, and Hearthstone are all examples of live service games that have earned their developers and publishers millions upon millions of dollars simply by building a strong platform that they continually build upon with additional content for years. EA wants a slice of this pie, and they think that Battlefield 5 will be the key. Now, I honestly don't know a lot of people complaining about the games below, since they offer free content. A lot of these are free to begin with, and for the most part they are not pay to win, with Hearthstone really being the only exception to this, which some players might debate. People that don't want to buy the content don't need to in order to excel at the game, and people that want to look cool and have more customization options can purchase these cosmetics and other items that helps them to stand out and appear how they want. Really, a live service model seems like a great thing in every way, but players have been expressing some doubts about this new system. This doubt has mainly been brought about by the fiasco that was Battlefront 2, which also uses a live service model. When this game first released, the only thing that was available to purchase were loot boxes that offered players a variety of different items, including cosmetics. But they also contained items that could boost a player's performance, meaning that players could effectively use money to become more powerful in the game. DICE also made it extremely difficult for players to get these same items by just playing the game, essentially forcing players to use money to keep up with others after they had already shelled out $60 for the base game. After the huge backlash against the game, which even it was shown in the mainstream media and got governments involved in legislation against the entire loot box system across multiple games, DICE did remove the ability to purchase loot boxes, and they eventually reworked the entire system, but a lot of the damage was already done. Things were made even worse as rumors started to surface that support had mostly been pulled from the game, which shows since the game has barely received any new content since being released last fall. Now, in EA Play, this has changed. They've revealed that they're releasing Genosis and they're releasing a lot of new Clone Wars content. But still, it's been a while since the game's been released and we still haven't seen a whole lot. The system of using a Season Pass has the benefit that content is guaranteed for the game, regardless of the game doing well or mishaps along the way. There's been very few games that have reneged on this promise of a Season Pass. The reason most people are concerned isn't that the live service model will give players advantages if they spend money, which it won't since DICE has said these items will be cosmetic only, but rather that if EA doesn't see enough revenue, they might pull the plug and players won't receive the depth of content that is currently being talked about. Many players also fear that we are not going to see nearly the same amount of content as a subscription system, regardless of how well the game does. The thing is, a highly engaged player base will keep the money flowing that will support new content, but new content is required to keep players engaged and paying. So, how can DICE best leverage their content in this new model to keep players engaged with the game for years to come? Number 1. We need some sort of content roadmap that tells us what DICE is expecting to make and give to us in terms of content over the coming months. Companies, for some reason, have decided to be super secretive about the content they are making for fear of backlash if they deviate from the plan. But this only causes disappointment since players will begin to expect more than might be planned, which is seen with Battlefront 2, Destiny 2, and with new releases such as Sea of Thieves. Rainbow Six does roadmaps perfectly by laying out for an entire year what people can expect. Players never really complain about a lack of content since they know exactly what is coming and when. Yeah, they might want more, but before they buy a season pass from the game or even get invested with just playing the game, they know what they are going to get and what they have gotten for years in the past. Things aren't going to change anytime soon, and players seem happy with what they are receiving. DICE absolutely needs some sort of roadmap that will keep players excited and that will help to calm any fears about a lack of content being produced for the game. This will keep players from being disappointed when content does come out that doesn't meet their expectations that they have developed because nothing specific has been announced. And when we talk about a roadmap, it really does need to be extensive or it won't bring about a lot of good. I'm really hoping for something similar to Rainbow Six. I hate when developers try to keep secrets and surprises when no one cares about this. We as players just want to know what is going on and what developers are planning and what we can expect to see in the future. Changes can happen, as with Operation Health in Rainbow Six last year, which did receive backlash, but only because developers made the change very last minute when players had been expecting fresh content for months. If DICE wants to keep players happy, tell us the content you are planning. Let's say we were planning quarterly seasons. Well, tell us that. Tell us the countries coming out during those seasons, a battle we can expect to see, and if you are expecting to release anything big like a new game mode. With a strong roadmap and a system for content releases, very few people will have reason to complain, even if we get less content than Battlefield 1. Just tell us this before we purchase the game. DICE needs to be transparent and honest with its player base. The second thing is to always have something large and special that players can work toward. Fortnite does this with the content of their seasons. Players can work really hard to get that content, get a little boost with the season pass that they purchase, or get unlocked with a premium pass. Rainbow Six also does something similar with their seasonal skins and the operators that need to be unlocked or purchased. We have seen the mention of seasons in the game, and it is important that they contain exclusive and amazing cosmetics that keep players coming back for each season and that lets longtime players show off their dedication to the game. Now, I know that this is a controversial point and a lot of players hate timed rewards, but that is why I would like to make sure that they remain exclusively cosmetic. It still might suck that you might not have the time to get the uniform or weapon skin that you want, or you might be away for a few months and miss out on a really neat season theme. but this won't hurt your in-game abilities and gameplay. This also keeps content fresh for players that play often and incentivizes players to keep on playing day after day. Now, the one workaround that I would propose to this would be to have the rewards be exclusive to a season. But after that season is over, they can still be purchased as a bundle with an enormous amount of gameplay currency or purchased with real money, making it so that if a player really wants something from a past season and they just didn't have the opportunity, there will still be a chance to nab it, but it will cost them. While the entire timed reward system isn't the most consumer friendly out there, it is a system that can be used to not hurt players and still provide a lot of incentive for players to use money to purchase what they want if they have their eyes on a cosmetic item that they need to have. Keep in mind, the people who are purchasing cosmetic items are going to be the ones supporting the release of additional content for everyone else. So there needs to be systems in place that cater to these people, and timed rewards for cosmetics does this without hurting those that are never going to actually spend money on cosmetic items. Third, DICE has to keep maps, weapons, vehicles, and modes rolling in quickly. Yes, I love Battlefield, but it can get stale to play the same maps with the same weapons over and over and over again for months on end. With Battlefield 1, the seasons were spaced too far apart, and a lot of players lost interest quickly because of a lack of fresh content. If DICE is going to be doing new maps every few months, that means we need 2 maps at minimum every 3 months, along with new weapons, vehicles, countries, and cosmetics. The seasons and cosmetics will be pointless without new elements constantly being introduced that affect gameplay. What I think DICE will do is similar to most other games in that they will tie their new content in with the new seasons. I have faith that DICE will deliver the content that we want, since if they do, they will be able to maximize the profitability with this series. I just hope they don't think that they can use the strength of the Battlefield series and its name to carry it along and keep players engaged without releasing the level and amount of content that longtime fans of the series expect. The last point that I want to stress is that DICE needs to be open, honest, and transparent as soon as possible. They aren't going to win anything by being secretive about content and their plans, and players are going to more than likely assume the worst if that is the case. Honesty and transparency will do a lot to build player trust after Battlefront 2, and will help to give the game a strong start at building a player base that can help to support the game and additional content that will be launched with this live service model for years to come. Thanks for watching, everyone, and please subscribe if you want to be updated about any new videos that are launched, which I'm trying to do multiple times a week. Feel free to like or dislike the video and leave a comment about what DICE can do to keep you engaged with the game. Thanks, everyone. This is Raquel, and I'll catch you in the next video.